It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, the GameStop stock affair. Early last week, one of my managers at work was telling me about the day trader Reddit Wall Street Bet and how they were running rings around the Wall Street establishment. I responded with, something about bubbles being one of the biggest problems in capitalism, when they burst, as with the 2007 financial collapse, and that he should be careful with his money. Didn't think anything else about it. Couple of days later, though, Wall Street Bet burst literally into every news source and commentary site I follow, so it's a big story. I don't know that it's quite as big of a story as the media seem to think it is, but it's definitely worth noting how a bunch of amateur investors made themselves millionaires overnight, while at the same time sticking establishment investors with billions in losses. Trading shares of freaking GameStop, for Christ's sakes. Now, you can make this story as simple or as complicated as you want. I'm gonna keep it simple. After all, I'm not a finance analyst, although I gotta note that on the other hand, finance isn't rocket science. I mean, sure, the math gets a little weird, and the masters of the universe want us to think, whoa, but conceptually it's all pretty easy. So easy, in fact, that if you feel like you don't get it, as with Enron's notorious business model, or with the collateralized debt object derivatives that were at the heart of the financial collapse under Bush, well, then there's probably nothing there to get. It's bullshit, a scam of some sort. A lot of bullshit in capitalism. If you want to get an idea, dramatized, although it's a comedy, of how this all came down, watch the Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy 1980s film Trading Places, whose villains go down because of their short selling. Short selling, in my opinion, a fairly sleazy practice, is when an investor borrows some stock, expecting the price to go down. At an agreed upon date in the future, the investor has to return the stock he borrowed, but in the meantime, it is effectively his stock to do with as he pleases. So he sells it at the current price. Now, if everything goes according to plan, the price of the stock drops, and said investor then buys back the stock at the new lower price. He then returns this borrowed stock he just bought and gets to pocket the difference between the higher price he sold at and the lower price he bought it back at. Voila! Money for nothing. Probably a few chicks for free, too. A pretty big hedge fund, Melvin Capital, decided that the company wouldn't be able to adapt to online sales, was short selling GameStop stock. But Wall Street Bet, perhaps in a sympathetic move because, all these day traders are pretty young guys, and the youth, they like the gaming. And so Wall Street Bet decided to run the stock up, buying shit tons of shares in order to dash Melvin's plans to run GameStop out of business and make some money at the same time. They were wildly successful. Some Wall Street Bet people made millions, and a lot of Melvin investors lost millions. But it wasn't just them. All of Wall Street saw what was going on with this and took sides with their investment positions. So a lot of people made a lot of money. A lot of people lost a lot of money. So that's what happened. Fascinating, right? But really, in a lot of ways, this is just business as usual for Wall Street. The market goes up, the market goes down, winners and losers. What's particularly noteworthy about the GameStop stock affair is that it wasn't a Masters of the Universe approved scheme. I mean, Melvin Capital's short selling of GameStop was, of course, an approved scheme, but certainly not a bunch of day traders ruining that scheme. You had the wrong people calling the shots on Wall Street. And the Masters of the Universe would not sit idly by and allow this without a consequence. When it became clear what was happening, Reddit shut down Wall Street Bet. Robinhood, the trading app used by these day traders, suspended GameStop sales. And I'm pretty sure that there will be more punishment to come. Definitely lawsuits, probably some legislation, bipartisan, no doubt. Wall Street will not allow regular people to create their own investment rules, and they will show the world that it must play by their rules or not at all. Now, if that doesn't show you who really owns and operates the United States, you know, not the American people, then I don't know what will. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Voila! Money for nothing. Probably a few chicks for free, too.